Greetings and welcome. This is Psychic Medium Roberto, and I truly hope you're doing well today. Trigger warning: the subject matter is of a mature nature and may upset sensitive viewers, but I believe we are still dealing with a missing persons case. Disclaimer: all cases are treated as alleged until proven in a court of law. In today's episode, I'm looking at Catherine Middleton. This will be episode 9 in the series. And we note we've just had Trooping of the Colors, June 15, 2024. Now, what I'd like to do first is have a look and do a profile on Dolly. And Dolly is a famous sheep, for those that don't know who Dolly is. Having been engineered and cloned, was born on July the 5th, 1996. Now we'll note the collection of sevens here. Now, when you talk about manipulation, this is evidence of manipulation. In other words, and now let me write it for you. So we got 3 times 7. Manipulation and control. Now, I'm going to take the perspective from a medical and engineering perspective, because I will say today's show was quite a show. And I acknowledge I watched the entire live sequence. It is approximately 4:30. I believe I may have put up an ID up front so you can see when I'm recording this. And at the time of the recording, I must admit, I didn't gasp. I purely watched from a viewer perspective, not from what my readings were. Because clear evidence for the public to see, for the public, is Kate Middleton and the 3 kids, who, except for George, have not been seen since December the 25th. Approximately a few days ago, and I haven't got the specific date, but a few days ago, I believe it may have been leading up to the rehearsal last week, Saturday. And last week, Saturday, what was that? The 8th. There was a letter to the guards to say, sorry guys, not going to be able to make it. Then all of a sudden, not only is she going to be there, but the whole family is going to be there. In a space of a week. Okay. I'm just going to give the facts. I'm not going to give my opinion of the broadcasts. I have a few elements. But since the broadcast until, I would say, half an hour ago, an hour leading in, meditating on the situation, and I acknowledge several of you have been messaging in saying, what the hell, or how can I explain this, or how can you say she's dead and there she is? For the whole world to see. And I was meditating, and Dolly popped into mind. Because I was thinking, the only inkling, I was like reviewing all aspects of what I've said, and I have a very good elephant type memory, very, very good memory. Even in my readings, I do transcend at times, but essentially I recall what I say. And in the early episodes, comments came in about clones. Now, the number 6 is the human. I may have said something in the previous episode, but I'll say it here anyway. 15-6, and I've said this in previous crime episodes actually, 15-6-15 with an outcome 6 still has the 6, technically. But there's a corruption or a perversion, human interference, 5, to get to that same outcome. Looks like, feels like, looks like, right? Now, I've been questioning to myself. This was my sequence as I unfolded. Now we're recording. The next number that bothered me was the 12-3. In the previous video, I may have said, well, that's actually Kate, right? Kate is a 12-3 outcome. But we also have this hidden 21-3. And that is behind the scenes. There's, if you want to look at it in a human form, in a human life activity, abduction. But again, we may have mentioned here, manipulation. So I took a biological medical review. The answer, I believe, why there's a 12-3 here, and it may, although it reflects on Catherine, 100%, without a doubt. But the intention, actually, because, look here, the parade today was not about Catherine, so why would her number be there? The parade was for the king's birthday, or at least for the ceremony. Okay? So why is it 12-3 here? The answer, I believe, a 12-3 is coming together of groups. We can even say like-minded people. Which in a sense, with all the groupings of the peoples that would have been at the function today. But there's lots of warning signs of issues, 11-2s. There's an imbalance going on here. So if it's not about Kate, and it's about bringing these people together, and we are dealing with power numbers, I look at the day before. What was going on the day before? We got a 28-10-1, 19-10-1-10-1. Which is the exact match outcome of Dolly, just as a matter of interest. Just as a matter of interest, I thought, let me look at what Dolly's birthday number is. In 1996, well, the air would have been a little bit cleaner, not as foggy as the current decade or previous decade has been. So coincidentally, and I'm just saying 28-10-1, 19-10-1, 10-10-1. We note the 12-3 the next day. The 12-3 also sits in the same position as Dolly. Yeah. So the theory that I started talking about with Dolly, where we have an imbalance of sevens, I then asked myself, so in the case of Dolly, I'm testing theories now. Eh? I've never gone down, let's check the chemical biological investigation of cells. But here we are. So on the day of her birth, there's an imbalance of sevens. So if the theory is the creation is these numbers, for example, the outcome, then surely, because let's say it's not exactly natural to clone anything, right? That's another debate. So I'm just putting the theory out. Would an imbalance also occur at the rendering or birth of a Dolly? Now, if we go forward, so June 14 is a significant day in my opinion. Now, if we go forward into what would be the reflection days, so June 15 technically would be blue. 1, 2, 3. On the reflection day, where I believe possibly a clone was born, on that reflection day, we have an anomaly of 8s. So I need to go back 72 hours and see what happened. That's effectively what's happening. I'm not making this up. I'm just following a different perspective. And 8s do speak about engineering. 6 speaks about humans, flesh. So we have an anomaly, and we go back 1, 2, 3. It pings on this June 14. She was hatched here. So where did the 8s go before? Yeah, here's another anomaly. I have a feeling something went wrong with one of them. I have been monitoring since the first episode, and I will monitor. The showpiece today is very, 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 very convincing. But there's also, in my opinion, I did grab other photos. Let me actually just bring one more in. And And I'll test again. But the energy from the person something does bother me about the elder son. When I was watching the show today, he's got a lovely black and white hat on as well. Black and white text. The eldest son for me has gone through a recent trauma. So much so that has altered his symbiotic rhythm balance within his own being person. Just a few telltale signs on appearances when I saw him today. And energy. (22-4), big clinical medical number. There's a death here as well. So the test is, when will we see Kate again after this event? Because a lot of pundits, and I was watching a lot of feeds today, lots. I picked up some things, but I'm not here to speculate. Let's see. But when will we see her again? And the pundits were saying she's looking great. So did she become this great within the last week? Because the week before this, she wasn't going to be there. But what still alarms me, so the event today was June 15. We have a 14-5 outcome here. Ironically, we have that 15-6, the perversion one. Reflecting right in the summary day. We still have the 18-9. There was breaking of groups that has happened here before. I mean, even here, the June 14, 14-5. So, I just wanted to see where Dolly fits into this picture. And Dolly is right there the night before. Technically then last night, huh? How long has it been? 6 months. Six months and everyone is just acting normal. It's like, what is the big deal? Interesting times. So June 17, if we look at it in the real, we'll note the usual presence of the bundling of the eights. 14-5 in the middle of the day as well. 22-4 heavy medical number. Life and death 13-4. So when we speak in crime series or crime shows, we're always concerned about like the 37-10-1, right? So this is the manipulation that is taking place within the system or the human body or the organism. The 8 is also speaking about, in the 28, speaks about genes. 9, creation. Playing God type of creation. The reflection of that day of Dolly is out of sync. Definitely the day began with a perversion, 15-6. I may have mentioned this before. And ladies and gentlemen, do not put tinfoil and that nonsense on my head. I'm just telling it like I see it. And I've been waiting for confirmations to do this episode because you don't want to do a knee-jerk reaction. Now, as convincing as it looked, and it did look convincing, something is amiss. With the black and white hat. So, ladies and gentlemen, I do believe Dolly was around today, or at least was around yesterday. Alright, let me know what your thoughts are, your comments. I do appreciate engaging with you. Please stay safe, stay alert, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.